Hello all and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ashley Robin. I am an artist by day, or at least trying to be one, and by night I've decided to let my passion for true crime run away with me by creating this series. And if you've been following me, you know I had a little bit of a hiatus, and by a little bit I mean several months. Sorry about that. I had some health-related things to attend to and some things with my art career to attend to, and honestly just did not have the bandwidth to fully commit to this. But one of my favorite up-and-coming true crime YouTubers followed my art page on social media, and he and I got to talking, and he really inspired me because it reaffirmed that this is something that I can do that is actually fruitful. Like, people are making a living doing this. And so here I am taking another swing at it. And there's a lot of stuff that has changed since the last time I was posting. So hopefully this swing that I'm taking at it will go a little better. As you can tell, I definitely have a more legitimate setup and an actual mic, actual headphones, not sitting in a car with wired headphones and recording like a creep. I'm actually so serious about improving on the last several episodes of this series before my hiatus that I even got a desktop computer. Up until now, my whole adult life, it's just been laptops and tablets, so I definitely feel very official and adulty. Anyway, so moving forward, I will not be wasting everybody's time rambling on and on about my feelings and thoughts, all the insights and processes into trying to make myself what I want to be. There will be a time and a place for that. If you would like those insights into my life, you can gladly subscribe to my blog on my website. I will have the link below. But moving forward with this series, we will be focusing on true crime, history, dark psychology, legends, and the occasional ghost story, as I have had in one of the previous episodes as well. And the different stories that we'll be sharing will be related to each day. There will be immersive audio tracks and dark imagery for those of us who like to listen to stuff like this when they're falling asleep at night. I totally cannot relate because I don't do that every night at all. Anyway, if this piques your interest and you want to stick around and see more, please hit that subscribe button. And this is True Crime Time Hop, episode 23. Warning. The following content may be disturbing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Tonight we will be traveling to Japan, specifically Sasebo of the Nagasaki Prefecture. On this day, June 1st of the year 2004, an 11-year-old schoolgirl committed a truly heinous act against her 12-year-old classmate Satomi Midurai. This occurrence went down in history as the Sasebo slashing. The little girl who did the killing has come to be known as Girl A because Japanese laws are in place to protect the identities of young offenders. At some point in more recent history, her real name was exposed in some form of media, but we won't be divulging that here. You're welcome to do your own research, but please keep in mind, this crime was committed by an 11-year-old girl. She didn't even understand the extent of the injuries she inflicted. She was documented as saying when she was first arrested that she hoped to apologize to her victim directly. She didn't expect Satomi to succumb to her wounds. Girl A, who was later dubbed Nevada Tan in the media for the Nevada University sweatshirt she wore on the day she committed the killing, had been exhibiting signs of depression and mental illness for quite some time. Up to that point, she had previous violent occurrences between her and other children in school, as well as an incident just a week prior to the crime where she had a knife involved. She was a big fan of the internet and the many subcultures and dark influences she was able to access through it. She had a website which was filled with links to shock movies and fan fiction about her favorite movie, which was Battle Royale, as well as recipes with strange names and just all the randomness her disturbed little heart desired. There was evidently very little supervision from her parents, and as she was spending more and more time on the internet, she was starting to withdraw from her extracurricular activities. And yeah, if they would have been paying attention, they probably would have seen the red flags and the warning signs. But, coulda, shoulda, woulda. I digress, I guess. Girl A was in a vulnerable place mentally at the time when Satomi, who was a friend of hers from school, posted comments about her being overweight on her website, and that was believed to be the motive. The next day, on the third floor of the Akubo Elementary School, Girl A approached Satomi and acted as though their online spat the previous evening was water under the bridge. The girls laughed and talked together, and it seemed like the beef was going to blow over, so Satomi didn't hesitate when her friend invited her to an empty classroom near their class where she wanted to spend their lunch hour. She had an idea for a game she wanted to play with Satomi and instructed the little girl to sit at one of the desks with her eyes shut. Girl A walked up behind her trusting friend with a box cutter clenched in her hand. She reached her arm around to the front of her victim's neck and slashed her throat. The bloodied child fell to the ground, unable to scream, and her attacker then advanced onto her once more, cutting her wrists to further reduce her chances of survival. The girls weren't gone long from their class, but after a few moments the teacher noticed the empty seats and began to grow concerned. Just as she started to take action looking for her missing students, Girl A entered the classroom and sat down at her desk. She was covered in blood. It wasn't long before her teacher found Satomi, who was laying lifeless where Girl A had left her. EMS rushed to the scene, but sadly, the little girl was pronounced dead. The school called her father, but all they told him was that his little girl had been injured. He was the chief of the local news, and his office was close to the school, so he rushed over to show his support to his child. Unfortunately, he arrived to the grisly scene of his only daughter, bloody and deceased. It was just 2 years after his wife, who was also Satomi's mother, died from cancer. How tragic. Girl A did not even attempt to hide her guilt, but rather admitted to her teacher and subsequently the police that she was very sorry and that she had done a bad thing. She apologized over and over and cried for much of her first night in lockup, as well as turning down many meals and drinks. In September, she was tried as an adult because of the severity of her crime, but instead of jail time, she was institutionalized for a 2-year bid. There were 2 additional years tacked on during her time there. After she was determined to be rehabilitated, the court did not impose any further sentencing, and she is now living free. There you have it. That is the very tip of the iceberg, I'm sure, for this story, but there is not much info available online for it because of the age of the people involved. So unfortunately, it's going to be a short one for tonight, but short is probably best for me just getting back into this. And it is after midnight and I'm still recording, so I'm already behind schedule for my first day back. But what do you think? Do you think that the few years that this girl spent in a mental institution are enough to keep her from reoffending? Let me know below. And if you like what I'm doing here, please subscribe, and I'll have another one for you tomorrow night, hopefully a little closer to 9 p.m. Thanks for stopping in and letting me entertain and disturb you, and I hope you have a great night. Bye-bye.